I am muting the meeting until it is called to order.
Emily, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I will call, or I will unmute when Janet calls the meeting to order.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we are unmuted.
I would like to call this May meeting to order at noon, 12 o'clock. Good afternoon. I would like to welcome everybody to this monthly Board of Trustees meeting with one change in the agenda to postpone the executive session and add the decision reached regarding our new trustee and a review about Montana open meeting and public comment laws, which both can be done in the old business. We therefore can add old business to our agenda.
Could you repeat that so I can make sure I get it?
Yeah, I can send it to you.
Well, so I have it, so I like to type it out. So in unfinished business, you're gonna add.
Okay, in unfinished business, I'm going to add the decision reached regarding the new trustee and a review of the Montana open meeting and public comment laws. And they can both go in the old business,
Review of Montana open meeting and.
public comment laws, and you can delete the executive session.
Can we do that?
Yes, you can. I just got a report on my phone that I can add to the agenda and I can delete in the agenda. So as your acting chair, I'm going to create a productive meeting place where every trustee, staff member are respected, valued, and seen. We will now take public comments on the agenda. Please state your name and you're reminded that public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Is there any public comments on the agenda? Okay,
Could you speak up a little, Jenna?
you know, this is as far as I can project. I'm sorry. In fact, I had a medical procedure yesterday. They're trying to figure out how to open my throat. And so I do have some of my comments in written form if I need someone to read them. So we're gonna go with the minutes. We'll begin by approving the April 24th minutes. These minutes were sent by email and have been reviewed at least once. We will now vote on approving the minutes. All in favor say A. All opposed say no.
Aye.
We don't need a motion.
Well, we can make a motion, but it doesn't say that in my, Robert's rules, but I make a motion to approve the minutes of the April 24th meeting.
So but your understanding is we don't need a motion to approve minutes, we can just do a
No,
vote.
I didn't think we needed a motion. It's not an action item.
Okay,
Okay, but I would still like a vote.
and it's aye.
Aye. Is Nancy on?
No.
Okay, the minutes for the April 24th meeting have been approved. So now we will look at in our booklet, there is minutes from the May 16th Zoom meeting. So if you haven't looked at them, you can read them now.
The Zoom meeting?
Mhm.
Where it says guess, it says just the letter Z, was that Zoom?
That was all that the black square said. So
Okay.
that's the only, which is a question I do have for the board. If we have, like, when we have people here, they sign in, but on Zoom. Are we going to have people put their names in or identify themselves? For the record? It doesn't matter this time, everyone on this
Yeah,
meeting has.
I
their
mean,
name.
I do a lot of Zoom meetings and we don't.
I know, but this is,
We only do.
this
it
is a
one time.
governmental meeting though.
Maybe
It's
it's-
I
different
can
than-
check with.
So we
the
might have to
government.
look into a policy that you can only comment if you
Well,
provide your
that would
name.
be if someone came in, like, I don't know, I just want to know what the board,
Okay,
that is probably something. that
maybe
should
something for
be-
the
Okay, we
policy
can-
committee.
Yes, we'll definitely do that. Okay. So I would like an approval for the Zoom meeting, May 16, the minutes.
Just
Okay.
you just want to vote? the
Yes,
same as
please.
before? Aye.
Aye,
Nay.
so. Okay. So it has been stated that we have the May 16th for minutes. So the budget. Have to give us a second, because sometimes there's
A lot of papers.
chapters and lots.
I guess I have a question for Emily. Are you not doing cyber? What was the thing is,
Cybrarian,
yeah. Are you doing that still?
believe so.
Okay. Is there a bill for that? Does that have to
It comes once a
It
year.
depends on year.
Okay.
Under the travel, it looks like there's travel for Darlene and lodging for Sarah. Did they just one paid for gas and one paid? Okay,
That's what the receipts that I were given.
okay.
Yeah, we're doing this part too. We're doing the whole.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
So we do a July to July, so we're looking at the percentages for each department, whether it was, you know, office supplies, operating supplies, repair and maintenance, so we get it, and then we are able to look at what is projected, what was the original appropriation made, and then the percentages of what has been used till now.
Publicity is over on both. Will you add more money to that for next year?
No, as I was going through the budget and reviewing different things, I realized that some of the things that I should have coded to some different line items, I coded them incorrectly, and I think with moving that around, that it should be fine. I can talk more about those numbers when we get to I am aware that it's over, but
Okay.
The one that's over, that's 105%.
Yes, and then
Okay.
down here, it's over to
Sure. Then
hundred
repairs are,
37%. No, is that right? Yeah,
oh, okay, publicity, subscription and dues.
yeah. Oh, and then. Let's see.
So what Big Sandy in general is still at 70%, 77%?
overall, yeah.
Yeah, overall.
Okay, thank you.
Fine.
We're fine.
I see, Emily, we do make motions on the minutes, I'm sorry. Our past ones. Okay. So you want to make a motion on the minutes then?
I can't make a motion.
Okay, that's true, so. I'm gonna backtrack, and I see on our past minutes, we have made motions. So, if on my Robert's rules, it said if there's under 12 people at a meeting, that anyone, as far as trustees can make the motion. So I make a motion that we approve the minutes from the March and the April and the May meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Now I would like to make a motion to approve the monthly budget report.
And that's all together, and we vote on it? Okay.
This, we just did.
Do you want to second this one?
Yes, I'll second it. Okay. Do we need to vote? Or is it just
No, just second, unless you had a,
I think we generally vote on a motion,
yeah,
don't we?
that's all we do is vote on it.
So should we vote now?
It just says they've moved to approve the March minutes. And then the next person seconds it and motion is carried.
All right.
Okay, we'll vote on approving.
Yeah, it just seems like usually if we do a motion, we follow it with a vote, but maybe I'm misremembering. Wouldn't
Okay,
hurt
so
to vote.
we've had the motion, we've had the second. Would you like to vote on it?
Yes.
It's been voted upon and carries. So our branch reports.
Was I the only one that voted yes for the vote?
No, we said
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
She raised her hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes,
Either one. My hearing's not great.
Okay, go ahead.
where are we at now?
Monthly reports.
There's no one on Zoom from Big Sandy, so Big Sandy. Reports for the month of April, themes were National Library Week, Earth Day, Poetry Month. They've started a spice club and their first spice that they covered was cinnamon. And autism awareness. Projects included Spice Club, and I believe they had held their first their independent sewing class outside of extension. And I think it was well attended, if that's my understanding. For April for Fort Benton, themes were unicorns, novels in verse, Cold War, autism, gardening, spring, humor, poetry, libraries, and in particular National Library Week, Earth Day and the Environment, and books about books. Projects included the Everyone Reads book discussions that were held for a variety of times. Was led to some very good discussions. We had Poetry Fridays. I worked on lining up the Humanity Montana speakers and getting all of the paperwork done for that. And we had National Library Week open house. I now invite Sammy Joe to give the Geraldine report.
Hello. Geraldine themes for May were Earth Day, poetry, and outdoors. And then the projects I've been working on is still just our oral history project and getting the information out that we will be open Friday, June 14th from 1 to 5 during our Fun Days celebration to kind of gather information from people that are out of town. And then I have also been in contact with Kaylin Winterberg, who graduated from Geraldine, and hopefully she will be here that day as well to kind of talk to us about publishing her own book and how she went about that and all of the ups and downs that come with that. That is my report.
Thank you, Sammy Joe.
Thank you.
And then I wanted to give a little update about Highwood. I was made aware that there was some misinformation given to the school board in January about the Chouteau County Library System. So I reached out to Brianna Bowman, who is superintendent, and Dave Crowder, who is one of the school board members, with the main purpose of increasing communication. According to their the last school board meeting they have, they're open to communication and exploring options for collaboration and expanding services. I by no means am trying to say that like we're gonna be open for business the day after tomorrow. But we do have a committee for that. The statement that I included, I will read it out loud though. We are looking at expanding library services to the Highwood community as well as the citizens of Chouteau County. The Highwood Library is primarily a school library and has amazing resources geared towards students and children. Many requests come in from Big Sandy, Fort Benton, and Geraldine patrons for books only available in Highwood. At one point, there was an interlocal agreement between the Highwood School and Chouteau County. This agreement has not been in place since at least 2012. Housing a community library in a school is not ideal. We are looking at different ways to bring greater access to books and resource sharing across the county. At no point was there ever a discussion about adding books to the Highwood School Library or trying to control the collection. The discussion has always been about expanding services for all. And then if anyone has any questions, to reach out to me. So I'm not,
You have a committee?
Nancy and Kim were on that committee. It was, I don't remember exactly what meeting it was at,
I
but
think it was 2 or 3 ago.
Okay, and that was brought before the board.
We
yes.
haven't done a report, but the formation of the committee did happen at a meeting.
So I was on the Zoom call, okay? And,
Which one?
the Zoom call for the Highwood School,
Okay, was it a school board meeting?
yes, it was.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I'm reading this. Part of it, they said Emily said there was a new administration, that's why she had to bring in this new one. And also it said that one of the trustees said that it's up to our administration for us to approve the books, the Highwood School Administration.
In your first statement, you said they need a new one because of administration. Do you mean an
No, they
interlocal
said
agreement?
that they need, someone brought over the old one.
Old what?
It
The-
was requested and I provided it. Nancy
Okay.
came in and said that they would like it, so I had sent it
Okay.
over.
Is it the interlocal agreement we're talking about?
The
Yeah.
original
Mhm.
one.
Oh, okay, the one that's 13
And
years
then
old.
they just addressed the fact that that it is up to our administration in Highwood to approve the books. That's what they said at the meeting.
Okay.
That was all. There was somebody that called in and, anyway, so.
Then there are the branch complete totals and circulation statistics for you to look at if anyone has any questions. I will do my best to answer them.
I think last meeting you talked about the information things, how you request for information, the last ones on the first page changing, is that?
Yes, so that change won't be reflected in the reports technically until the August meeting, because
Okay.
we're going to start that in July. So we'll have to take those stats in that new way, and then it will be recorded out
Okay.
that way later.
We vote on this? Did we?
No, this is just our reports to look at.
Okay.
Just information.
Okay. So. We can go on to the. So we're gonna move on to budget then?
Are we skipping the director's report?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I see.
The director's report, please.
I do not have a report prepared at this time. Nothing has really changed. As far as programming that's scheduled or any of the others, I would take this opportunity if board members have any questions for me about the overall operations at this time, or if there's anything that you're looking at in particular that you would like to ask.
I don't have any particular questions. I don't think that's- So. Anyone else?
So then announcements or dates to remember is, Monday, the upcoming Monday is Memorial Day observed, so all branches will be closed. And then summer reading programs will begin at all branches in the mid-June.
Not very long from now, you know, can't tell it by looking outside, but yeah. So was there anything that came up at the meeting recently with with all the other libraries? The Pathfinder?
Oh, so Tracy presented and, her presentation after lunch was about the budget. And so then I spoke with her, and then I spoke with Cheryl. And, so that is why I sent out different budget numbers on Friday in your packets. And different than what I had submitted last month, so.
Do you want to elaborate a little bit about what you found out?
We went over budget reports, because I mean, as you know, that's a lot of pages, right, in those budget reports, and so to make sure that we're watching the cash on hand. You have to, it's 33.33% is how much, like 33.33% of your operating budget you need to have. In cash. And so I went to look at that. That was not something that I had ever been really made aware of, before, by the board or during training, and so. I looked at that. A lot of it was things that we already do. As far as looking at percentages and the line items and things like that. So the main takeaway for me was making sure, look at that cash part.
And so that's that first line on the first page where it has, account, there's cash, and there's petty cash, and then it begins tax receivable.
Yeah,
Okay,
so and then kind of to tie that in, I believe I included a page that looks like this in your
yes,
packet. So if you look across that highlighted part, it's column 4.
okay, cash available,
Mhm.
and that should be
It
no
has,
less than 1/3 of column 3.
1.
Column 1.
No. Of column 1, I think.
Okay,
So when you have 1 and 2, okay, I don't want to sound, I'm not trying to sound rude, but like, so 1 and 2 makes 3.
yeah,
So you have your appropriations. And then your budgeted cash reserve that you have to carry, so then the total requirements are in column 3, and then it's just broken down
okay,
across that form.
so column 1 is what you're gonna spend that year. Column
Yeah.
2 is basically your required 1/3 in savings, and so then it shows the total that you should start in that account, or, okay,
So this was for fiscal year, this fiscal year, we're just coming to the end of.
To the end of June 30th.
that's the one, okay, fiscal year 23 to 24.
So then the new budget numbers that I sent out is just over that. I cut to try to request approximately the same amount as was requested for this budget year.
And because it would not have met that 1/3 reserve, you needed to bring down
Correct.
the budget, okay.
So I actually went through and did we just change anything on the wages?
I did.
You did. Okay, I actually did a complete, I went across board. And, with your recommendations and with 3.2% from the, what the county has decided to use as their numbers, although they do say that it's closer to 5 because they're adding more into the insurances. So I did a little studies, and it said according to the 2023 USDA labor statistics, your medical insurance that they have for you, and you have life insurance, your sick leave, your vacation, and the holidays add up to $12.06 per employee. That is.
For Chouteau County, or for
So
nationwide,
this is for nationwide. Okay,
You
the
think-
statistics that they said, and I know it's been said about how important, I mean, when you look at wages, look at your benefits also. Okay, that's all I'm saying. They have $12.06 in benefits, okay? So, and so when I put these, I want to say thanks to Cheryl Scott. She gave me the most excellent printout. She actually came later and gave me it too. The lowest paid employee is the groundskeeper. He's $10.30, and he's been there since 2021. The deputy clerk makes $19.90 and has been since 2001. And the assistant to the deputy clerk makes $16.25, and she's been down there since 2008.
so are you wanting to reference these wages off of the other Chouteau County employees?
I mean, that's in our
Did I
minutes.
include this page? I thought.
I think Emily once referenced raising wages to keep in line with other Chouteau
Yeah,
County employees.
exactly. Okay.
You agree with
So,
her?
let me finish.
Did I-
Oh,
I
I'm
just,
sorry.
did I copy this?
No, you didn't. I went and showed it about
I
one.
thought I did.
Says
Yes.
the heavy-
It's
Yeah.
right there. That's,
The heavy equipment operators range from $17.50 to $23 for a foreman who's been there for 19 years. So I did these all across the board. Okay,
You did a percentage of like,
I did. There's a percentage county and the and also the proposal.
So it looks like. Is the proposal Emily's number?
So that was the number I submitted last
Mhm.
month, but the number I sent out on Friday, they are different.
Okay. So you wanna do a dollar across
Yeah,
for everyone?
everyone, $1 across what actually is their 3.5%.
So would you please look at what I submitted to you on Friday?
Does that, yeah. Does this end up the same amount budget wise, Janet? Or is it,
Actually, it's very close, so I wanted to say that Emily has done a very good job at putting her figures forward. And, so it would look as if, and how they go, so I will look back at this one.
So the sheet that Janet just gave me was an addition of $1 for each employee. So what I presented to the board, for Carolyn O'Hara, it would be 78-cent increase. For Maren Engan, $1.51. For myself, a 64-cent increase. For Kirby Hoon, a 64-cent increase. And then for Darlene Klein, Sarah Shaw, and Samantha Summers, I proposed $1.
Okay,
okay, so Big Sandy and Geraldine would still get the $1. Cause Samantha Summers is Sammy Joe, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Sissy, can
Yes.
she ask now? Can she ask now or do we need to wait for discussion, Janet? I think I'm good with the question.
I'm good with the question.
Did anyone compare what librarians actually make across the state? Because I'm hearing foremans, worker people. So where's the comparison to libraries across, or small libraries across Montana and like this?
You would probably be shocked if they're small libraries, because there has been, we've had people that have talked about their libraries when they're at Pathfinders, and they're talking about 7 and 850. And one librarian, I believe it's out of Bell, had not received a raise since she started in 20 years.
So, but are you taking in cost of living and stuff? Cause like benefits, they start out at 16. The hemp plant starts out at 17. Living on $10 an hour is not a living. Have you had a survey come in and see what people actually should be making?
She was able to talk to 2 professionals about this. And by the increases, I mean, of using the county, the 3.5, but I added another $1 on top of that 3.5. So if you're questioning, we're talking about suggestions of wages at 16, 18, 21, 15. I mean, yeah, they're just under 16.
So, but you have 2 librarians that have a master's degree. So
that
you
is
can't
true.
compare somebody making $7 an hour that probably doesn't have a master's degree. So do they get credit for their education?
Well, this would go back to another question about the fact that they may have that and they're in a small library. And I do believe they could probably find another library to do their job at.
So so what you're saying is hearsay. You don't have anything hard facts that compares that you can put in somebody's hand and show the comparison.
So Emily, did you do a comparison?
The state library did do a whole study on that, and I do have that. I can make that available for whomever would like to see it.
Can we maybe propose just a shortcut, but Emily's numbers do have the $1 across the board for all
Right.
Big Sandy. Would that be something you and Nona is acceptable to you?
Yes, well,
And then Fort Benton's the only one that has like broken down raises, but Big Sandy fits Janet's proposal and so does Geraldine. Would that be acceptable?
no, let's see.
So, well, it is different from what she one
Right.
of the things that they do use is the hours that you have served.
But I've always got the impression from you that you're more a fiscal responsible person, so they'll decrease, right? You, Emily, decrease the budget from last numbers,
Yeah, I hadn't seen this part of it.
cause I can see if
So-
she increased them, that might be a problem.
No,
But
I'm
with a
even
decrease.
suggesting that she showed the increases before.
Right.
So,
But since we have seen these for the last 2 months, we've seen different budget proposals. And this one's less than, which to me is probably okay.
This one here,
No, the one Emily did where she
The
cut
Emily did.
14,000.
mhm,
So-
okay.
This is different from what we've seen, but it's a decrease.
In the rate, yes.
Well, so Emily, do you mind talking a little bit about where the $14,000 was cut? Was it solely pay or was it also?
Well, some of it from the initial ask was pay, because I did decrease some of what I had put out for the other people. Part of it was I went back and looked again.
And you
through
did
my-
decrease your own, I see.
Yes. I went back and looked through, I have been keeping track of the budget. I have 5 years now worth of budget tracking, so I went through, and so, to speak to Nona's question that she asked earlier about the subscriptions and publicity, that's with that shift. And I talked a little bit about it in April, that technical services line. So if I shift the Zoom subscription and the Cybrarian subscription, and those that were taken out of the 330 down to the 460, 150, I was able to take some of those out. I did and if you look at Big Sandy and Geraldine, I didn't actually take any less from those two budgets from April, from what I presented. What the biggest cut would be in our book acquisition fund. If you look on the page of Fort Benton under 322, it's a difference of 6,500 less. We did get the $5,000 grant that we're hoping to get again, plus another
like these, okay.
$1,200 grant. It's easier to get grant money and donations for book purchases versus,
For subscription.
well, no, for wages
For
though.
Oh,
wages.
that's
Like
true.
if somebody wanted to come in, and I'm just gonna use this as an example, if somebody wanted to come in and say, internet safety is really important to me, and so I would like to donate $1,000 to your library to pay for your Cybrarian subscription, like people are gonna do that rather than, hey, I would like to make a donation so you can pay your employees a little bit more.
Mm.
So I feel I've discussed it with Maren, as she does most of the ordering or she does all of the ordering of the books, I'm sorry, and we feel that we can make that cut in order to give folks those increases that I suggested.
And I think from months ago, part of the increase in wages, there was talk that because benefits was taken over the clinic, the entire wages might be bumped up in the Fort Benton area.
That was what I have spoken to Lana Clausen about.
Okay,
I asked about that because the commissioners are in charge of wages, except the library board is in charge of library wages.
okay, but that's a thought, is that we're Montana,
Well,
and wages are,
yeah,
there's high competition for workers.
so, but yes, the wages that I presented in April are much higher than the wages I presented today.
Okay.
The one I presented today also, if you notice in the corner, I don't know if the whole bunch got it.
Yeah.
Last meeting, I requested an increase for Sandy Grove 8 hours to 30, and this would be an increase of just 4 hours to 26.
Okay,
So actually, Emily, your figures are about how I figured it through if we went back. So, and using the 3.5 and also adding the dollar. So I think,
so you wanna do
think-
both?
pardon?
You wanna do both, the 3.5% and
No,
a
that's,
dollar?
I mean, that's,
Countywide.
that's county-wise, but when it comes out, it's the same wages as what she has put forward. Okay, so I
So
Do we want to separate these?
I'm not sure.
Separate what?
The personal services, the wages.
No, I think,
Bank expenses.
I would think we should, it's no good if we have half a budget to submit, right?
Okay.
Like we have to
Let's
approve
keep
an
going
entire,
I have a question, Janet, for this page. Is this just the wage part, or did Cheryl share her whole, this is Cheryl's whole spreadsheet where it figures out, the unemployment insurance and the workman's comp and the FICA and all of that? Did she,
Does that factor that?
so that's how I get like,
Okay.
so for this, for the,
That one.
so for this top,
Yeah,
so like,
yes, I did. I used this one. I'm
so when
sorry.
I give this amount,
Uh-huh.
the projected expenses, so. Like I requested for Fort Benton. For personal services was 118,000, that's based on on the whole spreadsheet that.
Mhm.
Cheryl
Okay,
showed.
okay,
So that's where that,
Thank
this
you.
isn't just wages, this is
Okay.
all of the,
okay. So,
Okay,
okay, so we'll move on.
all the
I
benefits.
think, I
So are
think
we,
your projected figures right now are excellent. Thank you.
so Janet, are you saying you like, that you do like her newest wages, or you,
Yes.
okay,
I said it's almost equal. It's almost
To your sheet.
across the board to what I did on my spreadsheet. Yes.
oh, good. Well, that's handy.
Mhm.
Oh, so I think I misunderstood you, so you're open to entertaining a motion to approve the
Yes, I
wages?
did, but you
I
said you
apologize.
wanted to wait.
Do you have more experience?
So I would just like to make a motion to approve the wages that we have just discussed on your personal services worksheet. Do I have?
So this one,
Yeah,
the one included in today's packet,
yes, please.
I have I will second.
Is there any, all motion approved by voice? Thank you.
Aye.
Aye.
And then there must be some discussion on this one that you want to break it out separately with a separate
No,
vote.
I didn't know what changes she made. So we can certainly look at it over again.
Emily, do you want to run through any of the, like you said, just
Do you
now
have
it
a
was
Start amount or
three
anyone that's
22,
been highlighted.
the books, catalogs, brochures, is that mainly
but
the
that was the biggest
322?
change, the 322 in Fort Benton.
Okay. And that's the negative 6,500.
Yeah, and all the
Okay.
rest should be the same. I'm sorry, the Big Sandy and the Geraldine numbers should be the same as what I presented in, so. I
Okay.
didn't have to make any.
Okay, and you took how much away from Big Sandy in April?
I didn't take any of, well, I took,
Yeah.
it's on this sheet still, so for gas, 344 gas.
Yeah, I knew those ones.
That's the only
The
ones that
books.
I didn't take any, it's 8,000, it was 8,000 last
Okay.
year, I asked for 8,000
322.
again this year.
Okay.
It was, I took 1,500 out of Fort Benton and shifted it to Geraldine.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So you don't have any other highlights on here then?
No,
Okay, thank you. So would anybody like to talk on the budget proposal?
No, it seems sensible.
So water, gas and telephone, you just took down a little.
based on the last
Last
3
year,
years,
yeah, you did.
it was like way over. I still put it above what the projected cost is, like I left it above, but.
You explained that at our last meeting. So,
I will make a motion to approve the entirety of the presented budget.
I will second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And it's been seconded and approved. Only two things that were added. Um, So the one is about the trustees. So the Chouteau County Commissioners recently met with myself as acting chairman, along with the director, Emily, and the county attorney, Steve Gannon. So we met in an open meeting at the courthouse. With the advice from the county attorney who was there, as well as a review of the Montana law, the decision was made regarding the appropriate role of the library board trustees in relation to the commissioner's authority. Because of the monies involved in running the library, the commissioners have the lawful authority to make appointments of trustees. They plan to review all the applicants as well as meet with the 3 of the applications received in order to interview them and make the best decision. They promised this decision within 2 weeks. We appreciate your continued interest in the library, and we remain committed to be serving the community and working with the county commissioners to provide the best library services. So it was, okay. So we did have, as trustees, Mary talked to us about this. It's called Montana's Open Meeting and Public Law Comments. And it was presented by a school board attorney. So I had asked the question and I was directed to Christian Juras. She is actually our lieutenant governor. She has been 32 years she practiced as an attorney in Great Falls, and she joined the faculty of U of M in 2000. And right now she's teaching and instructing all the state employees to adhere to Robert's rules. And I was directed to her to answer some of the questions regarding the use of the open laws that were in here. And it was her request as well as ours to continue to use Robert's rules as our open meeting and public comment rule. That was all. So
Janet, which Robert rules do you use? Because I know there's many different versions, and so when you're given a meeting, is it possible that when you quote a Robert's rule, because normal people, or not really normal people, but people wouldn't know, so if they needed to look up a page, a volume, and a section of which book you're looking at, that way they could answer some questions for themselves?
I certainly can. It's a Robert's rule. It's a 4th edition. And it was copyrighted again in 2022. So it's a very current one.
So it's the latest version?
It is the latest version.
Thank you. So when you quote them, is it possible for you, if not asking too much, that you quote what page and what volume you're talking from? So if you say Robert's rule says blah, 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 can you tell us where that is in that book and stuff, please?
I have many of them marked. You can see that I tried to go.
Well, yes, I know, but for us normal Joes, if we grab the book, we want to make sure that we're looking at the right stuff, what you're quoting.
The state of Montana, because this Christian Juras, who is the lieutenant governor, has been going around and she has been teaching and instructing all state of Montana employees to use it. So definitely.
Yeah, and I respect that and I understand that, but when, you've quoted Robert's rules a couple of times, and if we have that book, if you can tell us what page you're quoting that from, that would help personally me.
Most of you are sitting here with cell phones, so you can look it up also.
So
I can tell you for sure the section is in.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Is there any other public comments on items that were not in the agenda? Under the jurisdiction of the board? I have my 3-minute timer here, okay?
Well, I have another question. Janet, can you, if it's okay, talk about the backgrounds of each person that will be that applied for the position, or are you allowed to do that?
No, I'm not allowed to do those. Those went directly to the commissioners. You
Okay,
may
thank-
ask the commissioners if you wish.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. So our next meeting will be Wednesday, June 26th at 12 o'clock, and it is here, isn't it, Emily? Okay.
Yes.
I adjourn this meeting at, yeah, it's 12:51. I don't have a ticket.